Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is July the 11th. We have 3 more games in the W4 today. I know the show will be a little bit later. I'm getting the show done a little bit later, but it's all good. Yesterday, I made one play, but it was a weird play because I'm not a parlay guy. But yesterday I ended up parlaying I parlayed Dallas and Golden State. Didn't really trust either one of them with it being like their 4th game on the road in a row. They both ended up getting the job done. For Connecticut, for both teams, it was pretty late as well. Golden State they didn't bust it wide, like they didn't bust the lead open into the 3rd quarter. And then same thing for Dallas. They ended up smoking the tempo in the 4th quarter. But I knew it was going to be a little bit of a letdown spot for both of them. And Golden State struggled to score, and then Dallas struggled to get stopped. So what I kind of expected and why I didn't want to take those teams, but they ended up getting the job done yesterday. So 1-0 day with the winner with the parlay. And then as far as I like the Aces team. No, it wasn't the Aces team total. It was the Chicago Sky team total over 80. I think it was 88.5 is what we talked about. And they finished with 87. They shoot 24% from the field, but I didn't bet it. So hopefully you guys stayed away from that one as well and found some ways to make some money yesterday. Let's jump straight into it for today. Tons of action on the board for today. I spent a lot of time on this card for today as well. So let's jump into it. So first off, we'll start with Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool, linked in the description of the video. Today, I wanted to ask Jackson about a player prompt. So I asked Jackson to analyze the WNBA slate to identify the highest value opportunities for player props. Focus on lines that show a significant discrepancy against 5-game rolling averages, tracking changes in usage rates due to injuries or favorable defensive matchups, specifically targeting matchups and points, rebounds, and assists, provide the data, the underlying metrics, and reasoning for each recommendation. So Jackson's number 1 player prop is Jonquel Jones over her 1.5 3-point makes against the Minnesota Lynx today. It says that she's the premier player on the board today, while her season average is near the line. Her recent form has been elite. Over her last 10 games, she's cleared the 1.5 3-point line in 80% of her outings, averaging 2.6 makes. Most impressively, she's been a road warrior, hitting the over in 66% of her visitor games this season with a mean of 2.44. So Jones faces a Minnesota defense that ranks 3rd in the league against her position for 3-pointers, which is typically a strong deterrent. However, her recent volume and her ability to stretch the floor provide a high floor that the market has not yet adjusted for. Given her near perfect hit rate over her last 10 games, the over 1.5 is a high probability play. So that is the look from Jackson today. Jackson also likes Portland, Atlanta under. Not going to read into it, but Portland, Atlanta under as well. Use the link in the description. If you guys need help with prompts, what you want to prompt Jackson for, just let me know and I can help you with that as well. Just drop it in the comment section or shoot me a message over on X and I can help you guys with that as well. All right, let's jump into it. So first up, we have no graphics again today. Still going through some home little mini project stuff that is consuming so much of my time. All right, so let's jump into it for today. Let's see if I can find my color green. Nah, that's definitely not it. That's ugly. I'm on my highlighted color green at. Let's just go with this one. Yeah, we'll go with this one. All right, so first game we got up is the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. Very, very interesting game here. Now, the first thing that jumps out to me, and I knew this was already going to happen because, I knew that they were going to play again here soon. So New York and Minnesota. And before I get ahead of myself, let's talk about the injury report, which is significant in this game because Olivia Miles is off of the report. It'll be her first game back since she played against this Liberty team. And then the New York Liberty got all kind of question marks. So Rebecca Allen, who's not really part of the rotation anyway, is questionable. Not that big of a deal, but Satu Sabali continues to be out with the concussion. Leonie Phoebus will miss her 2nd straight game. And then Pauline, I think her last name is Astier. I think is how you pronounce it. Astier is also listed as questionable. And that's a big one because she's the backup point guard, almost like the primary point guard, depending on if Sabrina's out there. And that's the biggest one here. You got a New York Liberty team that's in a really good spot as far as situationally. They are coming off a loss as a favorite versus Dallas a couple of days ago where we took the under in cash. They had 3 days of rest before this game. And However, it's the first leg of a back-to-back. Maybe I think that they want this game more than they want the game against Toronto because Toronto's not that good. But maybe they want to show that they can beat, this Minnesota team in back-to-back games. And we know that these two teams just played 99-86 8 days ago in New York, is what the Liberty won. The Liberty won that game, of course, after beating Vegas in the Commissioner's Cup. And that game did go over the total of 174.5 by 11 points. We saw a lot of offense from the New York Liberty side of things. I would think that we see a little bit of regression here. Defensively, I think that these two teams can match up really well against each other. And then on the opposite side, we got a Minnesota team that's coming off 2 days rest. They beat Connecticut after losing to Connecticut, but they failed to cover 3 straight games in a row. And primarily it's been because of their defense. 3 straight overs is what they played in. They gave up 80 to Connecticut in the last game. I think they gave up 87 to Connecticut the game before that. And then, of course, the Liberty got to 99. So 3 straight overs for this Minnesota team. Having, Olivia Miles back should, in my opinion, it should help the offense a little bit. But I like under in this game, man. The more I thought about it, the more I think that, just kind of looking at the pace numbers, that was something that really helped me. And these two teams are really good defensive teams as well, right? I'm not going to pull it up and show you guys. You can go check out the Money Baller. It's linked in the description if you want. But this Liberty team, yes, these are really great offensive teams, right? Both of them are 5th and 1st in offensive rating, but defensively, they're pretty good as well. 6th and 1st in defensive rating as well. I think Minnesota gets back to playing their defense. We know that both of these teams can go through cold spells where they, struggle to shoot the basketball. Last 5 games, the Liberty are playing at the second slowest pace in the WNBA. And they aren't really giving up a ton of points. I think you get a much focused effort from them after the loss in that last game. And then on the Minnesota side of things, they desperately need to kind of right the ship. I know they won against Connecticut, but they didn't cover that spread either. I kind of like the Liberty as well, man. It sucks if they're going to be without all these players, though, which is why that's just a lean. But I think the Liberty are getting a tad bit too many points. This line's up to 5.5. It's now starting to come back down. I think that's too many points. Like the Liberty the Minnesota Lynx are good, but the Liberty are not 6 points worse than them. Maybe the books know something I don't know about SDA and, maybe not having Phoebus and Satu Sabli is more of a detriment than I think. But Liberty and the under would be my recommendations in this game. I had some stuff on Minnesota as well, but a little bit more stuff on the New York Liberty and a little bit more stuff on the under in this spot. Those would be my recommendations. And I could have got a Liberty, a Minnesota Lynx team total under. It's now, it was 89.5. It's now come down to 88.5 on all the books. FanDuel was lacking, but I didn't get a chance to get it in. Actually, Caesars got it back up to 89.5. So Minnesota Lynx team total under 89.5, even with Olivia Miles being back, would be my play in this game. All right, next game up is, let's see if I can get this back to black and get this to green. Ugly color green. I don't like it, but it's cool. Portland and Atlanta. So 12.5 is the number. Injury report wise, Angel Reese is listed as questionable. It's a big hold up here. Brianna Jones is really close to making her season debut. She's listed as doubtful. Probably won't play this game, but play in the next game. And then on the Portland side of things, Sarah Ashley Barker, very unlikely to play. And she's not with the team. And then Carly Sampson is listed as questionable. And Aaliyah Nye is off the report as well. So she should be out there for Atlanta today as well. So I'm looking into this game, man. Atlanta has just not been covering spreads. And you get a Portland team that's not in a great spot. So I'll just talk you guys through the spot. So Portland only has 1 day of rest. And they used yesterday that 1 day of rest, or honestly, probably no day of rest, is a travel day. To get all the way from Portland to Atlanta, right? So you're thinking about far West Coast, coming all the way to the East Coast, playing against your normal, body clock, and, coming off a loss, but they did cover against the Aces. Now, before that, remember, they had lost 4 of their last 5 games, and they were on a 4-game road trip, came home for 1 game, and now all the way back out on the West Coast. It makes sense that Atlanta kind of turns the tide and get things right in this spot, but you kind of want Angel Reese down there to be able to control the boards. Not that Portland is the greatest rebounding team. So other thing about Portland is they have covered 3 straight games. Back-to-back unders for them, but they have covered 3 straight games. I think the odds makers are just setting the totals too high because Portland's defense is so bad, but the other team can't get to the total. Aces needed 93 in their last game. They got to 88. Atlanta, so 3rd straight home game for them. Situationally, it sets up really, really well. 1 day off after knocking off the Seattle Storm. They still have not covered a game, though. That's 7 straight non-covers. They did smoke this Portland team the last time that they played way back on May 29th. It was 86-66. And they were laying 9.5 points. That game went under the 163.5 total. So a couple things I want to talk about here. So first, like when we look at the Dream, right? I talked about them losing 7 straight games. Well, not covering 7 straight games. In those 7 games, they're only 2-5 straight up as well. I don't think they're going to lose this game to Portland. They went 0-7 though in those 7 games. And I was looking at those 7 games compared to the rest of the season. They're averaging 81 points per game and shooting 26% from the field. I'm sorry, 26% from the 3-point line. I think it was like 39% from the field. So the Dream's offense is just kind of falling off a cliff. If you guys remember about 2 weeks ago, they were the number 1 rated offensive team after having like back-to-back games where they scored, I think, close to 100. And then they just can't score the ball as efficiently. Before the 7-game non-covering streak, they were 9-6 against the number and averaging 90 points per game, shooting 34% from the field. So 26% last 7 games, 34% from 3, the 15 games before that. And you won't find too many worse defenses in the WNBA than this Portland Fire defense. It kind of tells me, based on the situation, I just talked to you guys about that, Portland's not in a great spot. It kind of feels like Atlanta should be able to get right in this spot. Now, do I want to lay this big of a number with them? No. They were covering against Seattle in that last game at halftime, and then, just can't shoot the ball, can't make shots. I think they shot 24% from the 3-point line in that game. I was looking at some stuff. Dream are actually only the 4th team in WNBA history to be a double-digit favorite after failing to cover 7 straight games. It's kind of crazy. Other 3 teams, 2-0-1 against the number, and they went in by average of 12.5 points, which is right where this line is. I don't know. I kind of feel like Atlanta should be able to run it up in this game. I kind of feel like they should be able to run it up in this game. 1 second. Mama checking in on me. Yeah, I kind of feel like Atlanta should be able to run it up in this game. From a player prop perspective, real quick, if we go over and look at Outlier, which is also always linked in the description of the video, I think there's a couple things that stand out to me. First and foremost, Jordan Canada. Her over these 7.5 assists, plus 102 on FanDuel right now. I don't think we're going to get a better line than that. You can see it's already at minus 114 on DraftKings. Last 10 games, averaging right at 7.6 assists. So she's, right at this number. But 2 games here against Golden State where she just, couldn't do anything against the number 1 defense in the WNBA. She only had 2 and 2. So if you factor those games out, she's clearing this line, a lot more than she's not clearing the line. Also, Washington team in here that, is pretty good on defense. She still got the 7 assists. But here's what sticks out to me. In these last 4 games, she's had 16 potential assists or more in 4 of these last 5 games. Not this Golden State game, but these 4 right here, had at least 16 potential assists. This Phoenix defense, you can see it right here, give up the 13, well, I guess you could say the 3rd most assists in the WNBA. And Canada's finished over her assist line at 7.5 in 3 of her 5 games when she's facing a team that's bottom tier in as far as assists allowed on defense. So I like Jordan Canada. I think she can potentially get a double-double, like maybe even taking her to get 10 assists. She has a couple, games where she's had double-digit assists. You can see 10 here. You can see 13 here, 12 here, 9 here. So yeah, I think Jordan Canada over her assists. The other one that I considered, which I know we're going to get a couple of these 3-point shooters that do for some aggression. So it scares me a tad bit, but like I'm thinking about Anaya Coffey, Alicia Gray, like they just not shooting the ball really well, and they're contributing to that 26% from the 3-point line over the last 7 games. However, Ryan Howard has been absolutely money. So if you're just betting on somebody to make threes, like it's got to be Ryan Howard. Over her 3.5 threes, it looks like you can get DraftKings got it at plus 116. It's kind of self-explanatory. She's over in 4 of her last 4 games. Her last 10 games, she's over in 7 of 10. She's literally the only person that's out there making threes. If you go back to the Portland game that they played earlier this season, Let's see if I can find it. It's somewhere back here. I know she hit. Here we go. Right here. She hit 4 in this game as well. So she's just been the model of consistency, and then the attempts are there too, right? Like her last 4 games, she's jacked. She out there like Steph, 10, 13, 11, 11, and she's shooting decent, 36, 36, 38, 40% over her last 4 games. So maybe you just do some form of a little parlay. We know the WNBA is janky at times, but I think that Ron Howard could keep it going today against a pretty soft defense in the Portland Fire, along with Jordan Canada to go over her 7.5 assists. All right, last game on the board for today is so if I'm betting this game, I do think Atlanta should be able to score. Eventually, Atlanta's offense is going to turn around, and Portland is not in a great situational spot. Maybe they get the doors blown off of them as well, but not something that I think I'm willing to put my money on. I do lean Atlanta minus the points. I would love to have Angel Reese in though. Also, take a look at Ryan Howard rebounds over 3.5. I think she could get 6 to 8 rebounds today, especially if Angel Reese doesn't play. All right, last game on the board for today is Phoenix and Las Vegas. So this line kind of all over the place. It was some 10.5s earlier, 110.5 left, a 10, a 9.5, and totals coming down. It was at 171.5. It's down to as low as 169.5. So injury report here, we got Sammy Whitcomb listed as questionable after coming back in her last game, making her season debut when Phoenix lost their last game against the Indiana Fever. And then Natasha Mack is still going to be out. Dana Evans is listed as questionable for the Las Vegas Aces. And, of course, Kennedy Carter is no longer with the team. So for Phoenix, this is the first game after 3 straight home games. They're coming off back-to-back losses and non-covers against the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever. Third game in 5 nights for them as well, as they've been alternating, days when they've been playing. And then on the Aces side of things, 1 day of rest. They are traveling from Portland. They beat them but didn't cover. Back-to-back non-covers now. And back-to-back unders for them as well. It's also the first leg of a back-to-back for this Las Vegas Aces team. They got a primetime game tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time against the Indiana Fever. That's going to be on ABC, which I think is a look-ahead spot. The Aces, they got their revenge when they played against Phoenix, because remember on ring night, the opening game, Phoenix came in and absolutely smacked them up. Beat them, 99 to 66 or something like that? Beat it just pummeled the Aces. And the Aces went to Phoenix. They got their revenge, beat them 86 to 76 as a 6.5-point road favorite back on June the 17th. Both of those games went under the total 167.5 and 171.5. So the offense just hasn't showed up for one of those teams in both games. I got a lot of things on the under in this spot. I play Phoenix in this game. I like Phoenix. Couple things I looked at. One, I think it's a buy low spot for Phoenix because they're coming off back-to-back losses. They're 6-5 ATS when they've been getting points on the road. They've covered in back-to-back spots in their last 2 road games when they've been getting points. When they've been getting 7 or more, they're perfect 3-0 so far this season, including that first game against the Aces that was in Las Vegas. They've held 3 of their last 4 opponents under their team total in this spot when they've been a road dog as well, and lose by average of 1 point. So this line is a little inflated in my opinion. Especially with the Aces getting AJ Wilson back and, winning a lot of their games. Phoenix also 3-1 in revenge spots this season when they've been playing on the road. So I like that. Coming off back-to-back losses, I think you'll get a really motivated effort. 10.5 is way too much. I grabbed 10.5, which currently is available on FanDuel still. Aces, again, playing first leg of back-to-back with the revenge game tomorrow against Indiana. They just lost to Indiana by 18. And they've also just had a bunch of travel in their last 5 games. A lot more travel and a lot less rest than this Phoenix Mercury team. So top play of the day for me is the Phoenix Mercury. I got plus 10.5. I also think the Aces team total under is also in play today. And the reason why I say that is because not that the Aces offense isn't good, but it's just because the Phoenix Mercury plays so slow. So I think I think this game will slow down. The Aces are capable of playing really great defense on the season. Neither one of these teams playing super fast. Aces are 10th in pace. The Mercury are 12th in pace. So only 3 teams playing slower than them. If we look at the last 10 games, the Mercury are 10th in pace. The Aces are actually 2nd slowest pace team in the WNBA over the last 10 games. And then we look at the last 5 games, both teams are 8th and 9th in pace. So yeah, I think this game goes under the total. I think the Aces team total under is probably the safer bet. The Mercury don't score a lot anyway, though. But I do think they can keep it within, keep it manageable, man. So that's my thought process on this game. Hit the like if you can, subscribe if you guys have not. Let's jump into a quick recap. Let's get this off the screen. Yesterday, these plays went 2-2. And go back to the top. So, man, I think New York plus the best, that number is coming all the way back down, but you still can get 5.5. New York plus 5.5 and under. Best number you can get now is 173.5 though, and that number was 174.5 earlier. So that number has come down a lot. Didn't really look too deeply in the player props in that game. Phoenix and Atlanta, I do think this is the game that Atlanta should get right in this game. If Angel Reese can play, 93.5 is a lot of points. They should be able to get there though, or they should at least be able to cover the spread. I think it's a terrible spot for Portland. This is the one game where I would consider laying the points, but I'm not gonna put that on the screen because, and it's actually up to 13.5 now. So I'm not gonna put that on the screen because I need to know if Angel Reese is gonna be in. But Jordan Canada over those 7.5 assists is all correlated in my opinion. Ryan Howard, if not Alicia Gray, finally being able to make some threes, or Ania Coffey, they should, it'll have to be Ryan Howard again, who's just absolutely been money. So 3-point makes over for her. And then top play on the board for me today, and I did bet this, was I bet Phoenix plus 10.5 over on FanDuel. And that team total for the Aces, which has now dropped a little bit, is 90.5. Yeah. So I would go Aces team total under 90.5 as well. I think that's also a good look. All right, that's it for today. I appreciate you all for tapping in. Resources linked in the description of the video. Check them out. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, Odds Jam. Y'all enjoy this Saturday, man. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the games. I'll catch you guys in the next one.